hiring, how do you decide whether to bring in the new, fresh thinking, technology savvy versus the maturity experience? How do you decide what trumps what? Because that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I think it depends on the position, right? So if you're looking at new products and services, innovation, then you're going to bring someone from the outside, some way to do it differently. If you're doing the head of operations, I'm not going to bring someone out from a different industry, right? I mean, so I think for me, it really matters as far as what type of a position that you're looking at. We actually did bring in on the officer team someone completely outside of the industry, and he was with us for about 2 years, and then suddenly moving on, right? And there's from our old way of thinking, it's like, oh, what happened? Why did that person move on, right? Why didn't that work? And it's like, no, it did work. People are going to grow, people are going to evolve, and we're not going to have 47-year employees every single time. Sometimes 2 years is okay. And so I think some of this we need to get through, but it all matters on what position I'm looking at.
But if you're investing in someone at the C-suite or leadership level and they're going to leave in 2 years, I mean,
it's
really?
a challenge.
Yeah.
It is. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Ken?
I look for, don't really look for their answers, I look for their questions. And I rarely, a lot of people interview and they interview well, but I think a good interview in assessing someone well is feeling like you're being interviewed yourself, and that based on our conversation, they're asking questions that they're interested in. Mm-hmm. And I find that no matter what it is, so certainly in IT, we're going to look at that background and the technologies they know. But when we're talking about general leadership, chief operating officer, or chief marketing officer, chief financial officer, the depth of their questions is critically important, because if you're not curious as to how things work, if you can't demonstrate the initiative that you have, that you've prepared, you're curious about this, and then based on the conversation we're having, you can assess very quickly their critical thinking skills. Mm-hmm. And when you're in something new, and virtually everybody we bring into this business, it's new. You have, and some of it is intuitive, but some of it is not intuitive. Like, the more you put out, the more revenue you drive. We're the only company in the world where if I put 15 more TVs out, I'm actually going to sell more TVs. It doesn't matter if I have more TVs. It means if you see them, you're going to buy them. It's the craziest thing. And so you need curious people in order to drive that. So it's curiosity, it's initiative, feeling like I've answered a lot of questions, and then it's, of course, it's skill. What are their skill experiences that would lead to that? Mm-hmm. But that's
so
what's most important. So if you're
just out of school, I mean,
if even interviewing young men and women, if they're not curious and you've asked them questions, they've answered the questions, and we'll say, if it got that level to me, well, what are you curious about? What questions do you have for me? Oh no, I think you've answered them all. That's done. We're done. It's just not, there's no reason to hire a person that is not curious. Mm-hmm. They won't last because they're not going to apply themselves to learning. When people are engaged and they learn in what they're doing, they stay. And when do you quit? You often quit things when you stop learning, when the book is no longer interesting. And that is how you hold on to people. You keep them connected to how they can grow and understand more things. Mm-hmm.